All right, lesson 89 is back to using subscripts and doing value problems. It's not hard, but this is a little more complicated. So let's look at the first example. What we're doing here is they're going to give us a word problem, and we are going to write out what we do know, what they do tell us, and then figure out the rest. And so with this first example, it says airline fares for flights from Tifton to Adel are $30 for first class and $25 for tourist class. If a flight had 52 passengers who paid a total of $1,360, how many first class passengers were on the trip? So that's our question, how many first class passengers? So we're going to take this apart and figure it out. So the first thing I know is I've got passengers in first class and passengers in tourist class. And so those are my subscripts. And so I want to know how many of each. So the number of first class, I'm going to call that N subscript F for first class, and number of tourist class. And I know from here that adding those two together, I got 52 passengers. So there's my first equation right there. We're halfway there. Now they told me how much each paid. They said the first class passengers paid $30. And so if it was $30 times number of first class, I'd get to a dollar amount, plus $25 for tourist class. So it'd be 25 times the number of tourist passengers. That's going to equal $1,360. So I've got my second equation now. So setting it up is the hardest part. Then you can just solve for the variables. So with that in mind, I'm going to use substitution to solve for this because I have two variables and you can only solve one at a time. And so I'm going to rearrange this one right here to say the number of first class passengers and subtract the number of tourist passengers from both sides, and that's going to make this number of first class passengers equals 52 minus number of tourist passengers. Okay? So I have now a number I can put in right here. Okay? Substitution. So I'm going to rewrite my problem. 30 times 52 minus number of tourists plus 25 times number of tourist passengers equals 1,360. I used distributive property, and I did that ahead of time. So that's 1,560 minus 30 NT plus 25 NT equals 1,360. So now I will combine my like terms. 1,560 minus 5 NT equals 1,360. And now I'm going to subtract 1,560 from both sides to isolate my variable. Makes that go away. And I have negative 5 NT equals negative 200. Is that right? Yes, negative 200. Divide negative 5. But don't worry with the negative. You're not going to have a negative number of passengers ever. But you have a negative here divided by a negative, so you're going to end up with a positive. So that eliminates the negative 5, and the number of tourist passengers is 200 divided by 5, which is 40. Negative divided by negative is a positive. So I have 40 tourist passengers. So if I had 52 passengers total, then I would know that I have 12 first class passengers, because 12 plus 40 is 52. So those are not hard. You just have to pick them apart and put them back together and solve for it. And so let's do one more. All right, so this is about a dress shop, and the dress shop's name is Watasha's Dress Shop. That's hard to say, Watasha's. And she had less expensive dresses. We're going to use an L for less. And she had more expensive dresses, and we're going to use an M for more. And so she sold less expensive dresses for $20 each and more expensive ones for $45 each. The shop took in $1,375 and sold 20 more of the less expensive dresses than of the expensive dresses. So how many of each kind did she sell? Or did they sell? So, setting that up, just so you know, if she sold 20 more of the less expensive dresses, that would be the less expensive dresses equals the number of more expensive dresses plus 20. Okay? And then I know that if I had $20 times the less expensive dresses plus $45 times the more expensive dresses, I'm going to equal $13.75. So now I'm going to use substitution, which is already set up for me nicely right here. I'm going to put that right there. We're going to solve for the more expensive. So I've got 20 times NM plus 20 plus 45 NM equals 13.75. Right so far? Yes. So this is going to be here we go. So 20 NM plus 400 plus 45 NM equals 13.75. I have like terms right here and here. I'm going to combine together, make that 65 more expensive dresses plus 400 equals 13.75. Subtract 400 from both sides to isolate my variable. Makes that go away. 65 and subscript M equals, what is that, 975. Yeah, 975. Divide both sides by 65. The number of more expensive dresses is 15. So, if I had 15 here, so 15 and 20 is 35 for my NL. And you put a box around your answers right there. So you're going to do 2 problems for lesson 89. These are not hard. You just have to pick them apart and make sure you go back and check your answers, because you can just substitute in the numbers and it should come out just right.